Hello, we are the Florian and Schantz Jazz Combo, and today we're going to play a program of music about from the Spanish flu pandemic period, which spread around the globe, 1818 and 1819. Anybody out there, I know we have a virtual audience, know why it's called the Spanish flu? It did not originate in Spain, actually. The real reason it's called the Spanish flu is because during World War I, Germany, Austria, Hungary, the United Kingdom, and the United States suppressed information about the flu to make sure that their enemies did not know that they were weakened at home. The one country that was not in World War I was Spain, and being neutral, they actually didn't care about publicizing such information. So the first song we're going to play at the period is the original Dixieland One Step from 1917. All right, the original Dixieland One Step from 1917. Now, let's talk more about the Spanish flu. So, it's not really known where the Spanish flu originated from in 1918. The first cases in the United States were in Kansas, in a military camp, Camp Funston in Fort Riley, Kansas. However, earlier theories basically go back to earlier outbreaks in the United Kingdom and France as early as 1916, where something a very severe fatal sickness was racking the soldiers. It was later determined that those were the same um, exact symptoms as were being experienced by the flu. Now, there were three waves of the Spanish flu. The first wave was due to troop movements around the world. In the spring of 1918, the United States had entered the war and was moving a lot of material and men around the globe, as well as all across Europe. All the countries really were moving. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is that the close quarters and unsanitary conditions in trenches and military camps certainly did not help to stem the spread of the virus. Now we're going to come to 1918 and a song called At the Jazz Band Ball. At the Jazz Band Ball. So, quick question for those of you, our virtual audiences. Which had a bigger death toll, World War I or the 1918-1919 influenza pandemic? The question actually is pretty clear. World War I claimed between 15 and 22 million lives across the globe. The number of estimated deaths for the Spanish flu pandemic was estimated to be at least 50 million and maybe as much as 100 million lives, which is very sad. In fact, almost 1/3 of the entire population of the Earth was infected with the Spanish flu at the time. So we're going to come to another song from 1918. This one is called Clarinet Marmalade. Clarinet Marmalade from 1918. I'm going to do one more from 1918, and this one is called Fidgety Feet. But actually, let's talk about a little bit more about the Spanish flu epidemic. So, as I said, it was estimated that about 500 million people, or a third of the world's population, became infected with the virus. In the second wave in 1918 in the fall, that's when the particularly devastating effects hit the United States. And most of the deaths in the United States were during this period. Unfortunately, because a lot of our medical personnel were serving in the U.S. military abroad, there were acute shortages of medical personnel around the United States, which led to entire cities becoming quarantined, not unlike today, but actually even far worse than today, in fact, if you think about it, as factories were forced to close, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, as the pandemic got really bad in the United States, there was a period in some cities where they had to stop essential services such as police and fire. So that's pretty grim indeed. Anyway, back to the music and Fidgety Feet from 1918. All right, so come to another trivia question about the pandemic of 1918, 1919. What do these five people have in common? Walt Disney, King George V, Franz Kafka, Emperor Haile Selassie, and Edward Munch. They all survived the pandemic of 1918. So we're going to come to a song from 1919, and this one's called I Wish I Could Shimmy Like My Sister Kate. This was a immensely popular song in 1919, and quite a rude one at the time as well, with words words that went, I wish I could shimmy like my sister Kate. She shivers like the jelly on a plate. My mammy wants to know last night why all the boys treat Sister Kate so nice. Everybody in our neighborhood know that she can shimmy, and it's understood. I know I'm late, but I'll be up to date when I can shimmy like my sister Kate. 1919. we're going to come to another song from 1917. But before we do that, let's ask another little quick question. Did widespread immunization end the pandemic of 1918? Of course, the answer is no, because there was no flu immunization in 1918. So obviously, it did not play any role in ending the pandemic. Exposure to previous strains of the flu actually did assist with some people, some soldiers that got the flu more than once, because there were new strains that were mutating. Now, in 1918, the winter of 1918-1919, is when the third wave of the pandemic hit, and that was right after the armistice, and all the soldiers started to go home. The one good thing about the third wave of the virus is that at that point, the virus had actually mutated into something that was less lethal over time, which is certainly a good thing. Because unfortunately, before it had, let me see, how do I say this right? Before it had mutated, it was killing the hosts so quickly. Once it mutated, it actually, through natural selection, was trying to extend its own life cycle by keeping the hosts alive longer. A little bit of a warped thing. But anyway, back home again in Indiana from 1917. Yeah, so let me just introduce the band so you know, and I just want to acknowledge the Carney Library for sponsoring the show today. This is a virtual stream to the Carney Library, and Josh, thank you, and all the others over there as well. So in front of you, let me just go down the line. On my right and your left is Margaret Schantz. Margaret is 20 years old, soon to be 21. Just graduated college from Seton Hall University, summa cum laude, and she's playing the flugelhorn today. So Margaret. On my left and your right is Roop Chattopadhyay. Roop is playing the trombone today. Roop is a chemical engineer, graduate of Rutgers University in New Brunswick, and he's a chemical engineer. I think I said that already. And he also works for a chemical company. So Roop Chattopadhyay on my left and your right. The young gentleman in the middle is Florian Schantz. Florian is 17 years old, soon to be 18. He'll be graduating high school next month. He'll be graduating high school next month, and he'll be going off to Kane University, where he has a full 4-year scholarship. Very proud of Florian Schantz on the trumpet, cornet, and the flugelhorn. And my name is Lowell Schantz. I'm here in the back playing the guitar. So let's do a couple more songs and a little bit more trivia about the pandemic era, 1918, 1919. So, well, let's ask we talked about the flu vaccine before. So when was the first influenza vaccine actually developed? And the answer is 1935. So obviously there was, as I said before, there was nothing to protect the population in 1918, 1919. So we're going to get into a song from 1917, and it's one of our very favorite songs to play. It's called the Tiger Rag. It's, if those of you who know the song at home, if you know the song, and when you hear, Roop, why don't you tell them actually? Do you want to give them some guidance?
Yes. This is a particular song that is very conducive to bad behavior. The whole Dixieland style was quite a raucous style, and it's part of the fun for us when we go to libraries. We get to have everybody shout in the audience, and so you can join us for that too. Every time you all hear, we need you all to shout, "Hold that tiger! Hold that tiger!" Very good, everybody. There will be many opportunities to do that. Let's play.
Let's do it. The Tiger Rag.
Hold that tiger.
Wrong instrument.